What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams here with The Distance. Got a post-fight video for you guys. This one is for Erik Morales versus Willie Limond. Took place last Saturday, I believe, in Mexico. To be quite honest, to me, it just wasn't too interesting of a matchup. I think, me personally, I think that the supply and demand thing, in economics, is going to apply to Erik Morales. People who, such as myself, who kept up with Morales um, during his prime, it's like he's coming back, and we expect a lot more out of him. But the man will be so high, but there's so much that he can supply to the fans, and on top of that, um, I think that in a way, Father Time is already caught up with him. Even though he's just not coming back, I think it's already caught up with him. I I just don't think that Erik Morales has anything else left to prove, and he's fighting at 140 pounds, which is perhaps one of the most talented weight divisions in the world. And he's thinking he's going to get a fight with Juan Manuel Marquez. And if he wants to get in line to fight a Juan Manuel Marquez, then he's going to have to fight contenders that will get him ready for that shot, or get him ready, or guarantee him a shot at fighting, one of the, or Juan Manuel Marquez, or one of the champions at 140. But Erik Morales, to me, I don't even think should have went past 135 pounds. Because if you look at him, he looked slow, he was soft, he had trouble executing, especially in the very early goings of the matchup. He just wasn't as, he's, I think, being out of the ring for about 2-3 years, the timing is off. Um, Execution, that's, I think, like, execution, I think that'll take a while to get back, like the reflexes and all that stuff. I think if he's going to continue boxing, I think that's going to take a while to come back to him. And just overall, I think that kind of what did get him by in this matchup is intellect and power. I think that's really what got him by in this matchup. Willie Limond in the early goings of the matchup was throwing combinations and moving. That's all. It's really all he did. He moved and he threw combinations in the early goings of the fight. The commentary was horrible. I turned the shit off. But because it was like one guy was like pro Lyman, the other guy was pro Morales. Turned the shit off. Didn't really care for it, but the guy Willie Lyman was just moving around and throwing combinations, and then around rounds 4 or 5. I'm gonna say round 5, late round 4. That's when Erik Morales started to come back because Lyman stopped throwing, because he couldn't, because Morales just kept applying pressure to him. He kept trying to land that 1-2 right up the middle, and kind of walk him down. And in round 6, you see Lyman's mouth was open. His mouth was open. He seemed to be tired, and Morales just walked him down and knocked him out. And when he get the first knockdown, he got up and his mouth was just wide open. You could tell that Lyman just didn't have much left. So Morales actually did the right thing by going to the body. Went to the body, knocked him down, and eventually ended up knocking him out. I believe I think it was a right hand. It was either right, left, one or the other. It was a liver shot that put him down, and Lyman never recovered from the liver shot. Matchup was over. Overall, I think it was an okay performance from Morales, despite the fact that fans expect a lot more out of him. But I guess, a lot of fans is going to tend to forget, he's been out of the ring for quite some time. But it is what it is. We all, like I said, with a former great champion, we're going to expect a lot out of him, no matter who he's fighting. If he goes in and he's fighting, and say he fights, Marco Antonio Barrera for a time, we're going to expect, a slugfest or a shootout, right away, guaranteed. But you know, I guess this was his first knockout. He's been in two fights. The last fight, I thought he was gonna knock out Alfaro, but he did knock out Lyman. But knocking out Willie Limond, the fighter who's never been outside of Europe, really, it doesn't really say much to me. Especially for a fighter who's trying to come back to contender status and get himself a fight with one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. I don't think that this fight will you know, demand that fight. I think it's going to take numerous fights. He's going to have to beat and knock out a really good contender or a champion. And I don't think any of the champions are going to be willing to face him, because really all Erik Morales is now is just a name. And if he can, build like a momentum, like maintain like a certain momentum, maybe he'll be more than a name. He's 34. He can. I think in a couple years, if he continues fighting and he fights formidable opponents, formidable contenders, I think we could possibly see him in one more big match, possibly. Who knows? But he's not going to be in that big match fighting a Willie Limond or Jose Alfaro. So, anyway, guys, that was Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.